All right, everybody, welcome back to the First Team Fantasy Podcast. In today's episode, we will be covering the Sunday afternoon games as well as the Sunday night and all three of our Christmas matchups. To kick things off, we have the Jaguars at the Buccaneers in what I will don as the Battle of Florida. The Buccaneers defense is terrible. Again, I mean, I realize the Dolphins are there. The Dolphins run Florida, but whatever. The Buccaneers are terrible against the pass. They are 31st, giving up 264 yards a game. They are pretty stout against the run, only giving up 96 yards. Trevor Lawrence is still questionable. He has not cleared concussion protocol, which is not the greatest sign. It very may well be CJ Beathard in this one. Zay Jones is also dealing with a hamstring injury, currently projected 0 on Sleeper, so it does seem like there's a good chance they will be missing Zay Jones as well. Either way, if it is Lawrence and he is able to go, I don't mind the Trevor Lawrence start just because we've seen how vulnerable the Bucs are through the air. Granted, the Jaguars will be limited on their options, but again, it's very likely we're without him. Travis Etienne, no matter how good the Bucs are against the run, is a smash start in this one due to the lack of weapons and just how Etienne has been throughout the season. I think Calvin Ridley is going to be a good start. I think he's a safe bet. He's going to get extremely high volume, and we just hope that he can be decently efficient with that volume he gets. And it's the same with the always trusted Evan Ingram. He also will be heavily targeted. I think he's a very safe play in this one as well. I'm not really looking to start the Jaguars defense, but McManus, if you're confident that the Jaguars can put up points, kickers are, you can rotate on who you think is going to get in field goal range any given week. The Buccaneers side of the ball is even easier in my eyes. The Jaguars 29th against the pass and 12th against the run, kind of similar to the Bucs defense. Baker Mayfield, again, we kind of covered last episode the injuries at the quarterback position. Baker Mayfield is available on the waiver wire. He may be one of our top bets. We saw him go absolutely nuclear this past week. He really just might be one of our best options there. So I don't completely hate the Baker Mayfield pivot, especially if the Jaguars do roll CJ Beathard. You're going to have even more opportunity for the Bucs. Rachaad White, no matter how good the run defense is, we don't care. He's going to get the passes out the backfield. He gets all the goal line work. He's an obvious start. Mike Evans had a bad week last week, but I'm not too worried about that. You have to roll Mike Evans. And then Chris Godwin, someone we have been fairly critical of due to his lack of involvement in the offense. He went absolutely insane last week. And now in the past 2 weeks, he has 23 targets total, averaging 11.5 targets. He's someone that we probably have to start in this one because I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball too efficiently. It's going to be a lot of passing. Chris Godwin is the number 2 target there. And I mean, that's really it on the Bucs side of the ball. We're not looking to start their defense. The kicker hasn't been the greatest through the season. It's Godwin, Evans, Rachaad White, Baker Mayfield. If you have to make that pivot, he has not been bad this season. And the Bucs are healthy on offense, so we don't got to touch on any injuries, but that's all I really had for that one.
Yeah, well, on to our next one. We have essentially a battle for draft picks. The Cardinals were 3-11 at the 5-9 Bears. So, yeah, the over/under is 43, and the Bears are favored by 4 in this one. As I'm sure you heard Derek mention in the injury report, the Cardinals are going to be missing Hollywood Brown, and Greg Dortch is questionable. The Bears, Cole Kmet, Deontay Foreman, and Travis Homer are all questionable. Equinemius St. Brown is missing. So a large portion of that offense in question, luckily not by the name of DJ Moore. because that's kind of the guy that we are concerned with. Him and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet, obviously, at this point, a name that we are worried about because he has been fairly solid for the tight end position. But I think a guy far more important to that position is on the other side of the ball. That's Trey McBride, and he should be an automatic start this week. I think he should have a good game. Chicago has not been good against the pass. So I mean, we just saw what Joe Flacco did last week. Absolutely aired it out. I think it should be a good week for Trey McBride. A little more concerned with James Conner, I guess, because the Bears are very good at stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears are still only giving up 79.8 yards on the ground per game, which is number one in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, the Niners are very good at stopping the run as well. James Conner absolutely went nuclear against them. So I think Conner is still a good start. He's very healthy, it seems,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to use him. So I do think Conner's a good start, especially with the weapons that they're missing in the pass game. It's pretty much limited to McBride, Connor, and uh,
Michael
Rondale
Wilson.
Moore,
Yeah.
Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
There's not going to be too many guys out there. So, especially if Dortch isn't able to play, I think that Connor will probably end up catching 4 or 5, maybe 6 passes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Kyler Murray, I don't think is an awful start at all, especially based on who we've seen we're missing at the quarterback position this week. Also, with the possibility of still missing Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, that's really all for the Cardinals side of the ball. If you want to start Prater, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But yeah, going to the Bears side, we're still stuck in a position where I don't find any of the running backs on that team really trustworthy, at
Mm-hmm.
least from a fantasy football perspective. It's been very muddled, and we have seen Justin Fields getting the bulk of the carries in that backfield every single week. So for me, pretty much, it's still just Justin Fields, DJ Moore. Really watching the status of Cole Kmet. If you planned on using him, he's been, like I said, a fairly good tight end. So if you do need him, he was the guy you were counting on this week. Definitely monitoring that. If you have to make a pivot, I don't think it would be to another one that plays on the Bears, like Robert Tanyan or something.
Mm-hmm.
Probably want to look elsewhere for that. Maybe Hunter Henry in
Yeah.
a later game,
Yeah.
something of that sort. But yeah, that'll really be all for that one. Um, Not really looking to start Cairo Santos or the Bears defense.
And I agree with that. This next game's actually slated to what should be an exciting one. It's the Cowboys at the Dolphins. The Dolphins defense, it seems, gets better every single week. They're currently 10th against the pass, giving up 203 yards, and 4th against the run, only giving up 90.4. Now we've
We have
seen,
some really good matchups sprinkled throughout this week.
yeah,
And then our next one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The Cowboys have not shown up against good football teams not named the Eagles throughout the season. So that is something to slightly be concerned with. I'm not at all
Neither have the
saying,
Dolphins.
yeah, that,
That's kind of been the thing with both of these teams that the Cowboys, they got their win against the Eagles, but neither of these teams so far have been able to can't beat a good team. I don't think the Dolphins have beat a team that are currently in the playoff picture.
yeah, no, I
So,
strongly believe that. Yeah, it should be an
big
interesting
game for
one.
both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still rolling majority. I mean, all my Cowboys. Dak, you still have to roll out there. Tony Pollard, C.D. Lamb, Jake Ferguson. I'm slightly concerned starting Brandon Cooks. Only due to his past 2 games, he has not been very involved. He had 5.7 fantasy points, and then 3. Granted, he is out there a large portion of the game.
Yeah. I think the game before, 2 games ago, the Eagles game, I can't really take that away from him because it was one of those really unfortunate ones where he gets tackled on the 1 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure you saw the would have been pass interference in the end zone. He tried to catch it, but whatever the case may be, would have had a touchdown, got another end zone target. I mean, he's out there, he's getting those targets. This game is
Should
projected
be a
the
high-scoring
highest.
one.
It's projected the highest point total of the week, 49
Mm-hmm.
and a half points. I mean, if I'm going to put my chips in on guys in a game, it's probably this one.
Yeah. My only concern is through the past 5 weeks, he's caught 3, 4, 4, 2, and 2. 2 of those games against Washington and Seattle, where he caught the 4, he got in the end zone, so he had good finishes. It shifts right. This should be a high-scoring game. If you want to put your chips, there is a good shot Brandon Cooks can get in the end zone. But
Yeah.
if you want a trusted, like I guess Chris Godwin just went nuclear, but a guy along those lines where you're like, I know this guy's going to get me around 10-ish points. Brandon Cooks is a bit more of a risk, but he also does have the boom factor of getting in the end zone, possibly getting you 15 to 17. So, I mean, I don't hate the Brandon Cooks start. It's just something when I was looking at his last games, I was like, okay, something to address a little bit.
Yeah, last game, you can't just necessarily throw it away for the whole Cowboys offense minus CeeDee Lamb, but
It was bad.
it was bad.
It was very bad, yeah. But Brandon Aubrey is still a very obvious start. You know, if, and I think he will, but if Tyreek does not go, I do like the Cowboys defense. Just due to the fact we've seen Tua be vulnerable with the football, but there are better pivots you can probably turn to, and we know the Cowboys defense has been very up and down. They can give you 20 plus fantasy points, or they can give you 2. And if Tyreek does play, which I assume he will, it's probably going to be closer to the 2. And the Dolphins side of the ball. The Cowboys are 4th against the pass, giving up 177 yards a game, and now 19th against the run, giving up 117. They did just get absolutely gashed by the Bills. I have not seen the Cowboys defense look incapable completely of stopping the run, especially against a team that is known for passing the ball. But it is what it is. The Dolphins is the same thing. If, Tyreek goes, we got to roll our Dolphins. You got to roll Tua. You got to roll Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Mostert. What do you think about Achane? You think we roll him? Yeah. Achane, we've seen with the games even where he gets very limited involvement, his explosion is...
Yeah, he still got like 10 points last game.
Yeah. His explosion is just not duplicated in any way. So, we roll Achane, and then Sanders, you want to roll him? Sure. Why not? But I don't necessarily like the Dolphins' defense in this one. But it's weird because this is one of the quickest covers because you just know who you're starting. These guys are on super explosive offenses, super high scoring offenses that we've started the entire season, and it's not time to pivot from that by any means. So I like rolling all my guys in this one, and we'll see how it goes.
On to one of the more questionable Sunday night football selections. We have the Patriots heading into Denver to take on the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the Patriots, I feel like this is very simple. I mean, I'm not necessarily, like I said, it's one of these teams where I'm not forcing a New England Patriot into my lineup, with the exception of maybe Zeke, if he's been doing pretty well as the guy on the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he'll get his targets out the backfield. He'll get the volume as the main back. Zeke, I don't hate at all. I like Demario Douglas, Devontae Parker, Bailey Zappi. I just don't. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like those are picks that you're swinging for the fences with, and the Patriots' offense is averaging 13.3 points per game. So they're not even averaging 2 touchdowns per week.
Yeah.
And I just do not trust that. All their numbers are very bad on the offensive side of the ball. Um, it, yeah, like I said, it's pretty much Zeke, and that's it. And then for the Denver side of the ball, I feel like, I mean, it's really tough. Patriots are number 2 rush defense. They're only giving up 84.9 yards per game.
They're
So
they're solid.
Javante could have a rough day.
Mm-hmm.
He genuinely could have a rough day. Um, I mean, I think he's startable still. He had a very rough day last week, but I mean, that was against a tough Lions defense. But at the same time, that was the Lions team that was capable and very well did go up quick on them and did not let up at all.
Yeah.
So
The Patriots will not do that.
the Patriots don't really have the capability of doing that against the Broncos defense that has been playing well outside of that game lately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the Broncos have a competent offense. So, I mean, I think Javante should be okay, but the possibility of him getting shut down and not doing much is there. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. Starting Cortland Sutton no matter what. He's just been too good. Russ is a guy that, I mean, some people are kind of desperate for a quarterback in this position. I mean, a lot of us got here by way of CJ Stroud. Some of us, the late Trevor Lawrence resurgence. But yeah, I don't hate the Russ start. I think he might be one of the more decent options, especially if he's one of the ones available. If you don't have Baker there, like Jake Browning, I think Russ is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not as ugly as that is, but yeah, that's really about it for this one. Not really starting Jerry Jeudy.
The Broncos
Um,
defense.
yeah, the Broncos defense is startable.
Yeah.
They are. And that's about it.
Yeah. Well, just go to our Christmas games where my Christmas can start on a bad note very early on in the day. It's the Raiders at the Chiefs. Chiefs defense is 5th against the pass, 183 yards a game, 14th against the run, 110 yards a game. I mean, let's skip right to it. We're not starting Aiden O'Connell, obviously. Josh Jacobs was limited on Friday. He's dealing with a quad injury and also an illness. It does seem he practiced Thursday as well in a limited fashion. So it does seem like he will be able to play. And when they played the Chiefs in week 12, Josh Jacobs finished with 22.5 fantasy points. If Josh Jacobs plays, we have to play him. He's going to be out there the entire game. So we do have to play Josh Jacobs. Same with Devontae Adams. You know, he had that rough patch where he only went double digits once in 5 weeks. Well, the past 5 weeks have all been double digits. So Devontae is at least returning to a very startable fantasy number. And then Jacoby Myers on sleepers only projected 8.9. The last time the Raiders played the Chiefs, he had 7 targets, caught 6 of them for 79 yards and a touchdown, giving him 20.1. So here's an example. Jacoby Myers or Brandon Cooks, if you were looking at your flex.
Mm, I mean, It's really hard because I really do see the Dolphins Cowboys game being a shootout.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, the Raiders very well could be in a position where and they should be in a position where they're having to pass the ball a lot. So, I mean, I don't think either one's a bad option for the most part. I mean, I don't.
Brandon Cooks may have more red zone opportunities because this is in Kansas City. Last time they played
Yeah,
was in
it was in
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, it's just a hard one. I think I trust the Cowboys offense a little bit more,
That's fair.
but I think both of them are good starts,
Yeah.
like good flex options.
Gosh, yeah. If you're in the championship and you're in a spot where like those are your only, it's such a precarious spot to be in. If that was like
It's
your only
not
two valid
awful.
options, yeah, no, for sure, it's not awful. It's just one of those that's like that's a tough one though. It's a very tough one. I feel like, but I mean, outside of that, for the Raiders, Michael Mayer's questionable. We're not looking to start him. Carlson, the Raiders haven't scored enough. Then the Raiders defense has had solid weeks, but they probably will not this week against the Chiefs. But that's all I had for the Raiders side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, for the Chiefs, I mean, I want to say it's fairly simple. I don't see an update on Isaiah Pacheco yet.
I think he's probably gonna play.
I'd like to go ahead and assume that he is. Then, if he does, I mean, we've seen how bad the Raiders have been at times against the run,
Mm-hmm.
and Pacheco is one that they lean on heavily.
Yeah.
So if he plays, automatic start, starting Mahomes, starting Kelsey, starting Rashi Rice, starting Butker. I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I really think that's it.
that's fair. And then
Um,
our lull game.
I'd say the Chiefs defense, but I mean, it's just always such a high scoring game. On every time the Raiders and the Chiefs play, it feels like the Raiders somehow are able to make it decently close and score points.
It's
So I
fair.
just don't know about the Chiefs defense for that reason.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Which for that reason, you know what, Jacoby Myers over Brandon Cooks. Let's just do it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. This next game hypothetically should not be interesting. It's the Giants at the Eagles. Smack dab in the middle of our Christmas. Tommy DeVito pissed at his agent, didn't fire him. We love to see it. But yeah, the Eagles defense is horrid against the pass. They're 28th in the league, giving up 255 yards a game. They're 7th against the run, only giving up 94 yards a game. But on the Giants side of the ball, I mean, I'm looking to start Saquon, obviously. I can't trust any of the receivers. Now, Darren Waller had a decent return last week. Would you
Yeah, he got back to his form.
are you plugging him in?
Sure.
I agree. I honestly agree. Championship Sunday, I think Darren Waller should be heavily involved. He's their number one passing threat through the air. And if I remember correctly, yeah, he only played 42% of the snaps. He saw 6 targets, caught 4 of them for 40 yards. If he can manage to log a full game and give you 65, 70% of snaps, he very well will finish double digits, which is a solid week for tight ends. I do like the Darren Waller start, and also the Eagles' linebacking core is kind of they got a decent amount of weak spots through the air, but that's their biggest weak spot. So, but that's it for the Giants. The Giants are very
Yeah.
Patriot-esque on offense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess I forgot about Hunter Henry when I was talking about the Patriots, but
Open
yeah,
my door real quick,
it is
sorry.
what it is. No, you're good. I was just saying I kind of forgot about Hunter Henry. Speaking of the tight end position for that team,
Oh, yeah.
because it is pretty much the running back and the tight end. Yeah, Hunter Henry is a good start too.
Yeah.
He's been going pretty crazy last few weeks, and they won't have Juju, so there's that. Um, Onto the Eagles side of the ball. Giants are giving up 131.6 rushing yards per game and 225.1 through the air to go along with 24 points per game. Think I'm starting my Eagles.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, um, DeAndre Swift, hell, Jake Elliott.
Eagles defense?
Eh, It's a little bit harder, but sure.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean, they haven't played the Giants this year. They still play two more times.
that's so dumb when they do division games like that. Why are they so close? Like the Raiders just
I
played the
don't know.
Chiefs like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We played the Broncos week 1, and we play them the last game of the season. Who makes
Yeah.
these? It's probably tough to make schedules for 32 teams and make it make sense. But I believe you go
I mean,
first.
I reckon it is. Yeah, I do.
The game
What
of the
should
week,
be
probably.
the game of the week? I mean, it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Regardless of the outcome, we have the two respectively best teams in the league. The AFC leading Baltimore Ravens squaring up against the NFC leading San Francisco 49ers.
Super Bowl
Weird
rematch?
place to call this Santa. And quite possibly,
The Santa Clara Niners. I
hopefully,
heard that too. The Santa
yeah.
Clara Niners. Absolutely. They don't even play in SF. They're Santa Clara Niners. They gonna rep a city you don't play in. How does that even make sense?
And quite possibly, hopefully, at least half of a preview of this year's Super Bowl matchup. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, rather you than
I
them.
mean, yeah.
You know, rather you than them.
Well, at least I know whose side you'd be on.
Absolutely.
That makes it easy for me. But yeah, so over unders 47. San Francisco's favored by 6. So that'll be interesting. Uh, the Niners on the defensive side of the ball. Let me see. Or as we talk about every week, very good against the run. Only giving up 89.4 on the ground. And it's kind of tough to start Gus in this one. Although we did see James Conner just eat against them.
Yeah, we did.
I I think I mean if the Ravens get into his area, which is like anywhere from the 3-yard line forward, I think Gus will get in the end zone. Lamar, obviously you're starting him. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
San Francisco is giving up 220.6 pass yards per game. They're only giving up 16.7 points per game. So that is pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
But these are two very good defenses and two offenses that have been playing very good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens are scoring 27.4 per game, only passing for 210, but rushing for 163.8. So it's the number 1 rush offense versus the number 3 rush defense. Well, something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that's the Niners defense for my sake. But I like starting my Ravens in this one. Zay Flowers, I think,
Mm-hmm.
gets back on track. Still starting Isaiah Likely with a lot of confidence. And I think Odell might be a decent flex play. That's about it.
Throw Odell in there. Odell, Jacoby Myers. I'm just kidding. Just start making it more
You're
complicated.
making it more
I'm
complicated for
kidding.
no reason.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But Yeah, that I mean, obviously you're starting Justin Tucker. I would not prefer to start either one of the defenses in this game. So I'm just gonna leave that there right now.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that because as Schiff mentioned, I think you said the Niners give up 16.7 points a game. Well, the Ravens
Yeah,
give
the
up
Ravens.
16.1, which is best in the NFL. But I mean, we're talking about a point. They both give up 16 points a game. Both these defenses are incredible. The Ravens defense is sixth against the pass, only giving up 185.7 yards, 10th against the run, giving up 102. It's how the Baltimore Ravens go to work with defense to start it. And the crazy part in this one, yeah, you have these two top-notch defenses, and it doesn't matter with who we're starting in fantasy. Like, you can't shy away from starting Brock Purdy, who's been great all season. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, you have to play. Debo, Brandon Ayuk. You just have to play these guys. George Kittle. It's it's one of those things like Schiff mentioned. Like on paper, it looks like the possibility of another Ravens Browns, and I feel like we really learned our lesson that game when it was just an extremely high scoring game. It's just this one very well could finish a shootout. That's a 30-7, 34. It's a very good possibility.
It
So
could. It could end up being one-sided in one way or the other, like how the Bills Cowboys game was last week.
yeah,
We don't know.
I don't see it with the offensive firepower on both sides of the ball. I just don't see this one being both sides finishing like 13-7 or something like that. But again,
You'd
it
like to
could.
think, but
It
yeah.
could. But yeah, you're rolling your Niners. You want to throw Jake Moody out there? I mean, I guess. It's been weird because the Niners have been scoring the ball efficiently, but I don't have it pulled up, and I'm not going to dive in if I can't get to it quickly. But I know Jake Moody has, yeah, he has not been, I don't believe he's top 10 in the kickers, so there should be better options out there, but it is kind of weird to, yeah, he's 14. Yeah, honestly, no, I wouldn't roll Jake Moody. He's only gone double digits twice in the past 6 games, which is crazy to think. It's because the Niners get in the end zone more than they get stopped and have to kick field goals. So, yeah, like Schiff said, I don't really like rolling either of the defenses either.
Oh God, no.
But
Oh, that is effectively the earliest we've recorded an episode, but there's a time for something new all the time.
mhm.
And that'll be it for this one. Um, yeah, if you guys have, like we said, any questions, comments over the holiday, I mean, I don't think we will be back with another episode until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, we've all got stuff going on for the holidays, and Merry Christmas to all you guys. Thank you once again for being here with us. All of your supports, all the views, all the likes on the videos, everything counts, and it all matters. So, thank you for that. Hope your guys' holidays are as good as ours are about to be, and hopefully, you guys come back with some comments that you won your fantasy leagues. That's
Yep.
what we want to see. So, have a good one, everyone. Derek, if you want to.
Come back next time. Take more ups with the first team.
Yes, indeed. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.